We are live whenever you guys are ready.
All right, thank you. Call the October meeting, Coastal Zone Management Commission to order, 7:30 p.m. Monday night. Liz, would you call the roll, please?
Okay, well, let's see. I have everybody's names written down. Okay, so we have, tonight we have Maurizio Bertini. He's here.
Yep.
I have, sorry, Dr. Alan Mason, chairman, is here.
We're here.
Bob Fletcher,
Here.
Conan Chef. And Conan's muted. And then we have,
Right here.
and then we were waiting on Tara Anderson, who is, there she is. So we have a quorum.
Just need her face to appear. Hello, Tara. We see your name. We're just not seeing you yet. We need approval of the minutes. I was not at the last meeting, so you're going to have to do that without me. Who was chairing?
Hi.
Hi, Tara.
Matt was sitting in.
Liz, thanks for the tip. I was looking under your name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's LMC TV. That's where the link is.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
So we have a quorum. We need approval of the minutes, and I was not present, so I can't vote on that. But those who were present have those who were present for the September meeting had an opportunity to read the minutes. And does anybody have any corrections?
No corrections.
Okay, anyone? No corrections? Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as published.
So moved.
Got a second on that from somebody?
I don't know if I can second since I didn't jump on till the end, so I didn't know if Maurizio could second.
I wasn't there either. Sorry.
Does it matter, Liz, if I does it matter if I was there at the end?
I don't think it matters.
Okay, then I can second.
All right. All those in favor, please raise your hands. We have no opposition. All right, 5 minutes are approved. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to promote our first attendee.
Okay,
I think it's 16 prior
16 Prior Lane, yes.
Lane. Right. So let me make him live. Hi. Let me see. Oh, Matt just jumped on. And I think this is the
Hi, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hello. I'm
Hi.
at a different computer, so it's taking me a moment to figure it out.
All right, so I've just added into the meeting the applicants for 16 prior Lane. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yes, I'm Michael Boonder. I'm representing Megan and Brad Hartman for 16 Prior Lane. I'm the architect.
And who else?
Hi, this is Brad Hartman, and my wife will be here in one moment. She's just putting our daughter to bed.
Okay. Who wants to address the particulars of the project?
Well, I'd like to take a stab at it since we were.
Please do.
Do we share screen at this point?
Well, I'm seeing your face, and you can share if you have if you're set up to share screen. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so this is the site plan that we prepared. This
Okay.
is showing essentially what I think impacts you the most is the work that we're doing outside. We're also doing an interior alteration to the master bathroom suite. But essentially, we are doing a surround around an existing in-ground pool. There's an existing flagstone patio that we're changing. Well, that's going to be bluestone, and then we're extending that around the pool. We're taking an existing flagstone patio that's up it's up 4 feet, and changing that into bluestone, adding new steps on the corner here, and then changing this area here into an outdoor kitchen area, basically raising it up a few steps, and then doing a counter here with a pizza oven and a stove and a sink. We're adding a new fire pit. And let me see, it just as a comparison to what was there. This is the title survey, right? Showing the existing flagstone patio, the existing in-ground pool, the patio at the pool, and then showing you what was here was an original surround around the pool that was removed at some point, and essentially we're gonna expand on that a little bit, very minimally, but we're gonna expand on that a little bit. We're gonna put a new pergola over here, as you can see on the site plan we showed before. And then this corner here, I'm gonna show you some pictures too. This corner here is where we're adding the new steps from grade to the existing patio, and we're gonna, from the extension, we're gonna add some steps that go down to grade here. Go back to the site plan.
What is the gradient difference from top to bottom?
Where we're putting in the steps?
Yeah, well, no, the whole piece of property, I saw several contour lines. I was just curious as to what the slope is and what the...
Yeah, we're really not changing the grade because that was already in place prior to.
Yeah, no, that wasn't my question. The question was, what is it? I'm not...
It's 4 feet from the upper patio to the pool, and then essentially 2 to 3 feet from the pool level down to grade here, where we're extending the surround around the pool, and then go down to grade with very gradual steps. This is the view from the water. And you can see this is the existing pool, and we're essentially building a surround here where there was a previous surround that was removed, and then it gradually slopes down from where we're adding the surround down to grade via some gradual steps. This is where we're filling in new steps from this grade up to the existing patio. And this is the area where the outdoor kitchen's going to go.
I see. Okay.
You can see the existing patio at the pool, and the existing flagstone patio up above, where the fire pit's going to go over here. The outdoor kitchen's going here.
You didn't mention any changes of the footprint of the house.
No changes to the footprint of the house. We're going to do new decking above this area here. There'll be a new door from the master bedroom suite, and we'll do a new railing here, with no existing changes to the footprint. We're going to raise this up 2 steps here for the outdoor kitchen. The countertop will be here. Sink will be in the corner, and there'll be an oven and a pizza oven.
Well, those windows that I see that are almost below the grade of the patio, are those
Those will
gonna,
be filled in.
they're gonna be filled in?
Correct. There's a new, once we'll go 2 steps up, which will line up 1 step down from the house, and then we're going to put a new French door over here going into the kitchen.
Okay.
And you can
Is there
see
any
that.
new outdoor lighting?
New outdoor lighting, if anything, will be minimal. And as we discussed with Patrick Cleary during our consult, they will all be installed and located to be, screened so they do not affect any of the neighbors. Everything will just be focused on our property.
How about directed toward the water?
No, there won't be any additional lighting down towards the water.
I don't mean down toward the water, I mean directed toward the water. Aimed toward the water.
Yeah, but there won't be enough that it's not going to be like it's going to be spotlighting the water. It's going to be mostly just, with the area of activity where we are here. Nothing will be like focused or that strong that it would be affecting, on the water, if that's what you're asking.
Well, sometimes lights that are directed toward the water interfere with the night vision for boaters and that kind of thing. And people.
No, there won't be anything. All the lighting will be concentrated on the areas up here, which you can see is very, very far removed from the water itself. It'll all be up here. Nothing will be focused on the water at all.
Will the lighting be mounted on the house or will it be mounted on poles that are adjacent to the pool?
Be mostly on the house itself, up by the outdoor kitchen area.
Presumably then it would be downward directed, anything that's on the house.
Downward, yes, downward directed and or screened away. I mean, you see, here's a neighbor here, and the neighbor to the right of us is also, not going to be affected. And the people to the right have already, sent us a letter that they're very happy for what we're doing and looking forward to, us moving forward with the project.
Does anybody on the board have any questions?
I don't.
So
Matt?
there's no stormwater management system for the project?
We discussed that with Patrick too. We had this around the pool before. There was no stormwater management, and there's about 108 between the pool and the coastline where any of that additional impervious surface that we're putting back to where it was basically enough area to drain off into the property before it affects any other, adjoining properties and or the coastline.
So you're not putting in any type of detention facility or anything like that?
Correct.
Are you changing anything with the roof line or the gutter drains or downspouts or anything like that?
Nope. They're not being affected by this project at all.
You mentioned a new pergola that you're putting next to the end of the pool.
Correct.
Is that going to be on the impervious surface?
Yes, that's on part of the, let me go back to that. Let's see.
I
Just
see
try
it.
to pull that up again. That's over here.
Mhm.
And that's essentially, that is on an impervious surface. And essentially it's very similar to where the impervious surround was before as well.
So
You can see that
you're
the pergola is
basically-
essentially going to be here where this already was a concrete patio. And any of the patio that we're doing now is going to be on stone dust. It's not going to be on a slab. So it essentially is a degree of impervious surface.
Essentially, though, it sounds like you're relying on the previous concrete patio, which no longer exists, as to sort of grandfather your impervious surface area, and so you don't have to do any kind of stormwater management.
Correct.
Well, what is the existing impervious surface in square feet, and what is the planned impervious surface in square feet?
I don't have those numbers on the top of my head, but essentially we're squaring off this corner here and this corner here, and the same thing on all here. It's very, very minimal increase impervious surface.
Kind of like to have those numbers,
You want me to try to calculate that?
if you can.
Okay. How's everybody else doing during these wonderful times?
Doing okay. Nice to
We're
meet you. Nice to finally meet you, sort of in person.
Yeah. Let me see.
It's always easier to make these presentations in person. Not everybody has the information
Yes.
at your tips.
We had a meeting with the Larchmont Planning Board last week, and after 4 hours, we never got on. So that was kind of nice that we were experiencing that from the comfort of home rather than being.
You probably would have gotten on if you'd been there in person.
Yeah, right.
The people there would probably wanted to get moving too.
Yep. Let me see what I got here.
Liz, were the documents for this sent out before? I'm looking for them to reopen them.
Right.
They're on, if you go to the Town of Mamaroneck website,
Okay.
townofmamaroneck.org, and you go to agendas and minutes.
Okay, yeah.
There's if you scroll down, you can find the coastal zone meeting, and then it'll open up a window where you can get the agenda and the documents.
Yeah, I think it was.
There's a lot of stuff because we had some, a lot of plans in there.
Right.
It's probably like 5 million megabytes or gigabytes.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm not blaming you. We have another applicant that sent me a lot of plans.
What's that?
I wasn't blaming you. We have another applicant that sent in a lot of plans.
Oh, it wasn't me?
No.
Okay.
Not just you.
Here you go.
So Liz, I'm on the town site. Where is it under?
There should be something that says agendas and minutes.
Oh yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've
then
done this before, but
you'll see you'll see the meeting listed somewhere in one of those tables.
$10.28. Here we go. That's sweet now. Showing old ones.
It's about 325, 330 square feet of additional impervious surface.
On an overall lot size of,
Oh, now you're testing me.
no, I'm just trying to get an idea. of
No,
the-
I know.
the
I know, I'm kidding.
Trying to make it hard for you.
Michael,
No, I'm kidding.
the
Overall
overall,
lot size of, right here,
the
it's
overall lot.
1.025 acres, or a little bit over an acre.
All right, so it's not a terribly significant change. is what you're
No,
saying.
it's 325 square feet over, 44,643 square feet.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. The consistency letter really has to take these things into account. Does anyone else have any questions? Matthew?
No, it's a relative rounding error of impervious relative to the size of the lot and the huge lawn that's right down, right along the hill from it.
Yeah. So not a significant concern. All right, thank you very much for your presentation, and we'll try to get a letter out for you within the next couple of days.
So are we good to go then?
Yeah, I'll send a letter to the village planning board
Right.
and CC you and your and the applicants on it.
That's great. Thank you so much.
I don't have any reason to not find it to find it inconsistent or to not find it consistent. So I think we're probably okay. Unless any of the members have any reason to say otherwise, I think you're in good shape.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great night. Stay safe. Stay well.
You too. Thank you.
You too.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hi there, Peter.
Hello, how are you, Bob?
Doing well? Yourself?
Can't complain.
Sarah, good to see you.
How are you?
Well, let's move on.
I can see you.
Let's move on to the next item.
46.
Hold on, hi, Benny. Hold on. I think I have to end the screen sharing for that other.
Yes.
Trying to. Oh, there it goes. We're out.
Is this 46?
Yes.
40, no, this is 60. No, pardon me, 46. You're right. 46 Villa.
Good evening again, Benedict Salinistro for the applicant. I would like to share my screen. Okay, I just wanted to use Google for a quick second and then get to my plans just to orientate the members of the commission as to the property in question, 46 Villa. This is the Tudor home. The proposal is to have that home replaced with a new home. At 42 Villa, essentially, it was a new home constructed a few years ago, and this parcel is proposed to be reconstructed with a new single-family dwelling.
A very narrow lot. I was there the other day.
Correct.
What are the dimensions, Ben?
The parcel dimensions?
Yeah.
So this is the survey. We're using the R6 zone. Property, I'm going to just zoom in because I can't even read this here. It's 141 feet by 50. So it's 50 feet in width.
Well, that is a narrow lot.
Yep. So this is the existing structure on the survey plot that is supposed to be reconfigured with the new dwelling. Excuse me. So the new dwelling will actually be inward of the side property line on the left. And the house is, again, zoning compliant on its setbacks. The proposed dwelling will have a wide-end driveway. The current driveway, as you can see, is single car, just a little bit more than average width. The new plan anticipates a double width, 20-foot wide driveway. The property slopes based upon the topography that's shown here from front to rear. Rear is approximately at elevation 148, and the front is down to elevation 140. So this will be a walk-in from the driveway or garage basement, and then walk out on the first floor. So there's no grade changes contemplated outside of the widening of the driveway. So there are going to be walls constructed so that the driveway is allowed to be constructed. As far as areas of impervious cover, we're removing 2,700 plus square feet, and we're proposing 2,972. That number from a design calculation for stormwater, we're going to be doing the patio and the driveway impervious pavers. So this asterisk is for patio. So we're using pervious pavers for the patio and for the driveway. So while the number 2972 is represented as impervious surfaces, approximately 900 of that will be in pervious pavers. We are working with staff. We made a presentation to the Planning Commission last week for consideration. We are on the next agenda for public hearing for consideration of the project. We are working with staff on staff comments related to the site plan. And for the purposes of this evening's matter, it's a presentation of the objectives, which is to remove the existing dwelling and construct a new dwelling with stormwater improvements provided for rear yard and some in the front. We're utilizing information from the neighbor at 42. Let's look at that real quick. 42, this was a record drawing. Again, they had a smaller house, a larger parcel. It was a 75 by the same depth, 157. So they removed the house and they built what we see there today. And their stormwater provisions included a public storm drain. And we will be discussing with staff about utilizing the storm drain that's on the street for overflow purposes. Right now, the design does not contemplate the overflow utilization, but in consultation with the engineers for the town, we're looking at that as potential, which would be from where my arrow is shown. Dry wells are shown to be self-contained and potentially coming out with a new connection to the catch basin that was installed.
Right, but the neighbor next door had an attenuation gallery, correct?
They had an attenuation gallery, that's correct. And basically a large diameter pipe with a metered release of stormwater ultimately into the public system. We did deep test pit in the front and the rear, and there is reasonable percolation. So we may not go in with the same system. We're proposing conventional dry wells, but we're still working out those final details.
Ben, is this house on an intersection or is it just?
Yeah, it actually, I'm going to just turn around. I don't want to get anybody dizzy. I get myself dizzy sometimes. So as you drive out of the driveway and you work your way to, this is the intersection of, Boulder. So it is looking down Boulder. So if you're coming up Boulder and making a left onto Villa, you can see the houses right here. So yes, it's not at the intersection, but close enough to the intersection of Boulder Road and Villa Road. So this is the 75-foot frontage on that new home, and this project site is the 50-foot frontage.
Benny, can I ask a couple of questions about the tree protection, landscaping kind of stuff?
Sure, I'll ask away. And
so I visited the site last week with Bob Beresford, who's your landscape designer.
Yes.
So the typical tree protection, I don't think is going to really work in this situation. I mean, first of all, you're removing the trees on your property, but I'm referring to the neighbor's trees. Like there's the hickory on the left near the driveway.
Here, 16-inch
Right.
hickory.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's a really narrow kind of way to get back into there.
Right.
And Bob and I thought maybe a thick layer of wood chips and some plywood on top of it would do a pretty good job of protecting the root system for that tree when you're going in and out of the property to the backyard. There's just not a lot of room.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point, because obviously, given the limitation of 10 feet, actually, the demolition of the home will be done from the front. We looked at that today. There is no way to get a machine on either side. So the objective would be to do the demolition from the front, and then all of the site improvements will be done before we finalize the framing, and then we're going to be coming out this way. But an added layer of protection here, that's reasonable. We're not going to be, my point to you, Liz, is that it's not anticipated that this is the route of any heavy equipment, but yeah, we have a small Japanese maple here on the neighbor's property, so we could easily wood chip this here. Apply with this, that's not a problem at all.
Yeah, I think that would help a lot.
I agree. Bob, you mentioned that to Bob as well?
I did.
Okay.
Thought that would be feasible.
Yeah.
What trees are coming down on the property? Do you have a?
Yeah, there's 6 altogether. I'll show you here on this plan. We have 22 elm, 12 cedar, 15 hemlock, 10-inch pine, 8-inch maple, and then there's one 22-inch tree here. From front, you're looking at, let's see what we can see. We have this overgrown tree here. You got 1, 2, is that 3 there? Yeah, 3. So there's a total of 6 trees.
Liz, what are the condition of those trees now?
The one in the back, the 22-inch, I can't remember off the top of my head what kind it was, but it looked like it was in pretty kind of crappy shape. And it would allow the neighbor's tree, they have a very large tree that's right near their fence line there to grow. Otherwise, I mean, the elm, it's going to be unfortunate to lose that one, but we're asking for on another project that they're working on to get a couple of new elms planted, new Princeton elms.
Mm-hmm.
So a project that's not, hasn't been to the planning board yet, but yeah, it's just not enough room for all these trees and to do all this kind of work.
There is a landscape plan that's been offered, which I'm sharing with the commission now, that Bob Beresford prepared, that it just, I guess, identifies the vegetation and the vegetative cover that's being proposed. For example, the rear, there's some rhododendron that is very mature and going to be salvaged and remain, as well as towards the rear. So from a screening perspective, we have ample towards the rear side here, and then there's a whole row of trees that are being proposed to be planted as well. 10, what is this tree? Oh, 15 of the, I guess they're called green giants. And then there's some lower ones, boxwoods along the sides here. So, the property being what it is in terms of size presents, limitations, but there will be, from what I can tell from this plan, ample foundation plantings, and where possible, other levels of screening as well. And
Oh,
again,
and I see on, sorry to interrupt, on the front, I do see that he's proposing a Princeton elm in the front to replace the elm that he's removing.
okay, this is the one here, Liz?
Yeah.
The
It's
Prince,
almost Americana Princeton.
easy for you to say.
Yep. That's what that is. So that's
Okay.
a Princeton elm.
Okay. So yeah, so that, I'm glad you guys took a site visit. Again, given the width, narrow width of this property, you know, you can see that with the house, you know, there's not much on the sides. We do have a good frontage and a rear area to plant, and I think that's what Bob is looking to do, is to maximize where possible some new plantings and some screening as well. So that's it.
Anybody else have any questions?
Sure, I have a question. So you said with the pervious cover, it works out to 2,900 or something for the new.
That's correct. Let me just
Right.
that number right here. Yeah.
So if it didn't,
I'm
so
sorry.
if it did not have pervious, then it wouldn't really work out numbers wise, right?
Well, I'll try to answer what I think you're asking. The current condition for stormwater on this property is there's overland flow. There is no containment system in place. The design calculations for the new work include the full 2,972 square feet. Let's call it 3,000 square feet of impervious area, which includes the driveway and patio. What I was trying to explain is that we're utilizing green infrastructure for the driveway and patio, but still designing for it as if it were not. So
Okay.
in terms of the net, in terms of, we don't, because this is a tear down, the town code does not give the design the ability to take a credit for what's being removed and say, oh, it's 0-0, so I'm not doing anything. Well, I just show this just for the, you know, to understand practically, you know, there's 2,700 plus square feet of existing cover that is uncontrolled stormwater runoff, and this project, while slightly greater or equivalent, will have something. So the net gain or the net on this project will be a positive, where there will be containment of stormwater. But we don't take credit for the existing cover. So I hope I answered your question.
Well, I guess where I'm coming from is I think a lot of times, you know, homeowners then pave, right? And so, you know, how does that work out if they then pave the driveway, you know?
Well, no, the driveway will be paved with patio, with stone, or with the pervious paver. So it's not gravel. It will be paving stones, but they're paving stones with a design for water to permeate through the joints. So it's a technique falling under the category of green infrastructure. So basically, it's a porous pavement. So there would be no reason to alter that surface. I can see that question being posed if there was a gravel driveway and somebody said, I'm going to go pave it. And yeah, then you change the characteristics of sheet flow and stormwater runoff. Here, that's not really, it'd be foolish for anybody to try to, there'd be no reason for somebody to remove a paving system to replace it with a different paving system.
And what's the pitch of that driveway, toward the street or toward the house?
Towards the street. So we are, we're at 143 to 140. So I believe I have it marked down. I think it's a 6.4%.
That's a fairly steep pitch.
What is underneath the pervious pavers?
It's basically, I'll share a detail. It's a heavy layer of gravel. Let me get to it. Let me just zoom out so I can see it myself. It's a heavy layer of gravel that basically is what we call like a first flush or the initial storm event. So this is the cross section of that pavement system. I haven't mastered the use of this yet, but I'll get it.
You're doing very well. I gotta tell you, I've been trying to, as a teacher, I've been trying to use this stuff with my students, and I'm watching you do it.
I'm trying. I know there's a way to like you can highlight the area, and then it automatically explodes into a higher percentage.
What are some other? You've used these stones on other projects, haven't you, Benny?
Yes, we have actually completed at least a half a dozen projects, and you're more than happy to go take a look at them. Actually, this commission has viewed these before, and it's one of the planning board's objectives in reviewing site plans, especially residential, is where we can modify or utilize green practices. They ask us to consider that. So you can see there's various layers of gravel. So we go with 6 inches to 4, so that's 10. Another 4 inches, that's 14. And then there's a setting bed. That's probably 3 5/16. No, that's this thing. I'm sorry. So we got
14.
14 inches. Yeah. So it's a substantial amount of gravel. And then the other thing is what we do is we bench the gravel. So when you look at a sloped area, and as the town engineers have commented on, as water percolates through, you don't want it to follow the same contour of the surface so that the water doesn't travel too quickly down to the end. So we step the subbase in such a way where there are going to be steeper or thicker areas so that there's a balance of water absorption throughout the surface area.
Almost like a series of terraces as you go from the top of the driveway to the bottom of the driveway. So the sub layers don't have the same grade. They're kind of going across and then down, then across, then down, right?
Perfectly said. Thank you. Yes. Yep.
So you guys going to team up on that there, Matt?
What was that?
I say you're going to team up with Benny on that?
Well, he understands it. That's
no. I think it was a couple of meetings ago. We discussed this. I think maybe it was in the spring when we were in, or last year when we were in person.
Yeah, we've had several of these.
Okay. I have a quick question. What's the lifespan of such a system? How long does it last compared to a typical driveway?
Well, anytime you're dealing with gravel, the voids, and the reason why gravel is commonly used area for or product for absorption is that the annular space, the void ratio between stones, is basically like free storage, and that storage is as good as what's beneath the gravel. So from a percolation point of view, the soil below the gravel beds are really critical for the functionality of the system. So when we have, like, you wouldn't, if you put it on rock, it really wouldn't do too much other than give you some immediate storage, but then it would dissipate the capacity. The trick with any pervious paving systems, as I've seen and learned, is making sure that there's the clogging factor is reduced. So we have a maintenance item in the provision to be vacuumed. You're supposed to vacuum the joints from any debris. So that's critical because the joints are relatively, I wouldn't say tight, but they can get filled with just run-of-the-mill sediment that vehicles transport. And once those joints get sealed, they don't have the same rate of porosity as a newly installed system. So cleaning the joints is really critical. And every porous pavement or porous system has the same caveat that, maintenance, i.e. vacuuming, is required for its effective, use and lifespan.
How does the new homeowner know that they have to vacuum your driveway? And is there like a company that comes out and does driveway vacuuming?
Yeah, I'm quitting what I do because it's not very good these days. So
How's it gonna work with the blowers?
I'm going into the driveway vacuum business. I don't know. I mean,
Is it like becoming a roof shampooer?
we don't lecture to people, but these are documents that are provided to them as something that, yeah, I mean, what you commonly do find on, and that's why I think the paver system works better than the asphalt system in the sense where most homeowners will pressure wash their patios, decks, and stone surfaces because of the natural growth of discoloration, etc. So by doing the pressure washing, it actually increases the life of that system. So it almost automatically happens. People are washing down their driveway. Those joints are always the first thing to be exposed or be cleaned out. So no, we don't send out notices about vacuuming your driveway. I haven't seen anybody do it yet, but it's a very interesting concept. That's what the manufacturer asks us to put on the plans, and that's what we put on the plans.
Benny, I think it's a good thing you provided stormwater management as if this was an impermeable surface, because it sounds to me like it's going to become impermeable in a couple of years.
And that's why we designed it as if it were. We designed it as if it were. So if all else fails, it's still being a system that's being contained to the extent practicable.
The question that goes through my mind is, should we be just discounting the permeable aspect of it and just assume that in relatively short order it will be impervious?
I think we should.
I mean, we do that from an engineering perspective. The town's code requires that irrespective of the surface, that a design consideration be as if it were assumed to be with a higher curve number, like asphalt or something less that has zero permeability. So yeah, there's no free credit for a green infrastructure in this case.
So I'm sorry for another question, but you're sloping down the property across the street, right?
Yes.
So in a way, as we said before, potentially this becomes, probably less permeable than the design. Would the property across the street experience any, I mean, it's a big word, quote unquote, flooding due to, a larger size driveway that could, potentially convey more water towards the properties?
Well, and that's any runoff on the property, and that's why I want to share this, is that the most municipal roads, this included, has a crown in the road. So water that would leave is going to follow the gradient of the road, and that's why that catch basin is installed down here. So these basins are put on the low ends of the roadway system.
Right,
So
the street slopes towards that intersection.
Yeah, same goes with this. I mean, so this is the new house next door. I mean, they have a trench drain across the front. The concept is, the water is supposed to fall from the sky, get into the trench drain, and they have dry wells in the front, and then later on goes to here. But the same question, when this gets covered with leaves, what happens to the water? Well, it's going to run right down the street. Here, this runs right down Boulder Road. In the case of 46, the driveway, and again, we're not talking about a rush of water like a fire hose, but any runoff in normal, intensity will follow its path.
Hold on.
So the road does not slope the same way.
So what did they say?
So that's, yeah, I don't see, so right now with the driveway as it is, that runoff is the worst case scenario that's currently existing. The improvements that are being proposed are going to decrease what they currently have today, which is the full runoff. That's not going to be the case with the new design system. And any excess runoff, let's say snow melt, for example, that just trickles down along the curb line and into the basin. So I don't envision any, and these driveways are somewhat aligned, but yeah, this driveway goes down a little bit, and I'm sure I have something that trickles down beyond that point.
Because based on your calculation, you have almost twice as much surface for the new driveway than what you have now.
Yes, the driveway area is increasing because it's obviously double the width. That's correct. Yes. But again, this design is going through iterations with the town's consultants and the town engineer as well. And, should anything come up on an advisory matter for us to consider, we've always been pretty good about that. I'm not sure what more to do, but if needed, if something is an option, I'm not sure what to do there. I mean, short of putting a drain in the street itself, physically in the street itself, but that will get inundated with, with water from the street. So,
Well, I mean, the only thing that you might potentially do is you have Caltex in the front. I don't know how deep you have to put those Caltex there, but you could divert some runoff into the Caltex.
Yeah, so with the overflow that I was talking about, because the elevations, you can see this is about 4 feet higher than down here. The other option as you're asking that question, I'm looking at, because we don't want to ever go, in the opposite direction, bringing more water to an area that's higher, really doesn't work. But down here, if we did something similar and we have an overflow going here, we would bypass that with a drain in the front here along the edge of the sidewalk. And if excess water were to, want to migrate off the property, we would have a trench drain across the front, and then that would direct it towards the drain, Maurizio, so you wouldn't have the sheet flow coming off is what you're concerned about.
Yeah,
that's a practical measure. That's perfectly fine. We can definitely do that, especially we're going to be considering that as an option to come off this hill, come off the front, overflow with a pipe down to here, and then from there's going to be a pipe connection to this basin anyway. We might as well bring a drain line from the front and connect it to.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
The driveway can't go into a cul-de-sac given the grade.
Yeah, it's belts and suspenders, and I think what Maurizio was talking about is as a practical measure, because when you look at the alignment of the driveways across the road, if there's ever such an event that would occur, and we don't make guarantees, but if there was ever such an event where you'd have a rush of water off this driveway, is there a probability or possibility of it going down to the neighbor across the street? I would say no, but in order to safeguard against that, we could easily install a drain along the sidewalk edge and pick it up and let it, get deflected towards this point here, towards that catch basin, rather than give it the chance to go further.
Go into them. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, make a note of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That's what it's about.
We'll work on a letter for this for you. When is your planning board or zoning planning meeting?
2 weeks, 3 weeks, Liz? 11th, November 11th. Is it November 11th?
It's November 11th. I think it's on Veterans Day.
That's 2 weeks roughly. Yeah. 2 weeks and a couple of days. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you. I have the next one as well. So if you have the same questions, it'll be the same answers. Whenever you're ready for this one,
Ben, I'm so tempted to make a comment, but I won't.
We all are.
I know.
Various ones.
We're lying. We're live here.
Yeah.
127 East Garden. If you would like, I can start.
Yeah, let's move on to item number 5 on the agenda. 127 Garden.
East Garden Road.
Yeah.
So 127 East Garden Road. Again, coincidentally, it is the same property owner with the same intention to remove the existing dwelling and construct a new dwelling. This is a oversized lot in terms of its zoning district. Current driveway is on the furthest left side of the property as you face it from East Garden Road. We have a magnificent tree that's being preserved and protected during construction, which is out front. We are looking at a new driveway install, which will be on the upper part of the property, the right side of the property. That will require the town's review and approval to remove the single tree on this street. And as I mentioned to the planning board, I didn't get any negative feedback from the planning board, Liz, unless you have, but we would look to provide, other new trees either on this street or in a different location. This tree should never, in my opinion, this tree should not have been planted here to start with. It's directly under the wires.
It is, but I think it's a horn beam. I think it's not a tree that will get big.
Not a tree that we're gonna what?
It's not a tree that will get big.
Big enough right now to be a pain.
Well, it's not a tree that's gonna get any bigger if the approval goes through. So we just looked at this from a streetscape perspective that on East Garden Road, we just took a quick gander up and down the street. The only other tree on the street on this East Garden Road is a tree that's been, pretty heavily damaged with the wires going through. So there's no real street tree view in the neighborhood.
It's just too narrow there. That's why we haven't been planting along there.
Yep.
It's just.
But we would love to. So right now the plan calls for the driveway going here, which would obviously need, we would need some relief on a town tree to either, plant another one or do something. So that's still in abeyance. That decision hasn't been granted yet from the town. But that is part of the application for consideration. Where am I? Oh, here we are. Okay, so 127. So the existing driveway is being relocated. The current driveway is, again, towards the left-hand side, garage under the house. So the red is the outline of the existing dwelling. The new proposal is obviously in the dark shade, the dark outline. Driveway in the front, and obviously you can see where we've identified the single tree that we would look to relocate, or I should say plant another tree in its place. So the application, again, this was presented to the Planning Commission with some comments. There will be a revision or an update to the plan. This initial plan contemplated regrading the rear yard with installation of new walls. We are going to modify that significantly because I think there was a concern about the existing trees along the rear. There's a couple of trees along the rear and then along the side. So that's being modified. So for the purposes of the application tonight, this is a zoning compliant house to replace an existing house. From the numbers, I'll just share those numbers again with the commission here this evening. So we have about 3,200 square feet of existing impervious areas. uncontrolled stormwater runoff. And you got what's being proposed is 4,272 square feet. Again, driveways, patios, and walks will all be impervious, which is about 1,073. So at the end of the day, you're looking at almost net equivalent, but we are designing for 4,300 square feet of capture of the stormwater runoff from the paved surfaces. Again, the lot is a oversized lot. It's over 13,500 square feet for the zone that we're in. And, the property slopes from the right side towards the left side, left back corner. And while it would have been nice to have this whole area, leveled out, we respect that the town planning board asks us to reconsider the plan. So we're in the process of revising that aspect of the grading plan and the retaining wall plan. This side here is going to remain with a wall only because it needs, but other than that, the backyard will have some slight grading, but no retaining walls, except for a little piece here. Nothing along the side. That's in a nutshell. We have, like I said, the drainage in the rear, and again, the same thing with the driveway surfaces will be in a green pervious paving system.
Then you describe it as an oversized lot, but
yes,
is it consistent with the rest of the neighborhood with one-family houses, single houses on it, or?
They're all single. This is a single-family zone. They're all single-family dwelling units. I'm just going to go to the architectural plan and give you an idea of what those numbers mean. Again, apologize for the. Okay, so the minimum lot size, just going through this real quick, is 10,000. So this is 13.5. So it's larger by about what's that? 3%? Is that right? 10, yeah. So it's larger. It's got a larger front, 85 to 141, and a depth of 125 where 100 is required. So again, the zoning compliance sheet has been prepared by the architect just to show all that, but this might be a better perspective to see what the housing stock is in the neighborhood. This is directly across the street. These are homes. I'm not sure that's a home too. Yeah, so they're all single family. The lot sizes are variable from minimum to greater than what is on this tract of land. So this just happens to be more than the minimum 10,000 square feet. So yeah, so you can see the driveway is currently tucked into the side. This will all be green space, so there'll be a greater buffer on the left-hand side. And again, this is a pretty majestic tree here that's being protected and saved.
Yeah, this is right around the corner from where I used to live. It's down the street from where I live now. Like across the street, they're kind of standard to smallish size lots. Their backyard depth isn't that great, so they look a little bigger than they are. The house down the street that you showed there a moment ago, that is also the one right in the corner of the brook. That's an oversized lot as well. It's a pretty big yard, both front and side. And then up the hill, it's no, on the other side of East Garden. Yeah, yeah, their house right there behind those shrubs. So that's another really good sized lot. But up the hill is relatively new construction as well. That kind of tucked a full size house, into a not huge lot. I've walked by that house just waiting for this to happen, because knowing that lot is a big lot, and the house has kind of seen better days. It's not been upkept and
no, not at all.
Like the rest of the neighborhood is.
The interesting part about this, just for just to share, is that the new owners had this on the market for rental. I mean, it is livable to a certain extent, so as not to just to give it some time before the project would commence, but they're doing other work. But believe it or not, even in this time that we're living in, rentals are hard to find, but nobody wanted to rent this house. So it's, just to share that.
Benny,
It wasn't pleasing to folks that were looking for a short-term or long-term rental.
hi, I know there's a lot of chipping going on on East Garden in that area. How's the land there? Do we have to chip it?
Well, so Peter, from rock removal, we have dug test pits on the property. The rock climbs believe it or not, the rock climbs from the backyard to the front. We estimate some rock removal, but we do not believe we'll have a significant amount of rock. So we did some probing with a small machine for the test pits, and there, some pockets the rock was at 6.5, 7 feet. So the house elevation looks like some areas, and we're guessing because there's a crawl space in the back of the house rather than the foundation, rather than the basement. So we believe that the area where the crawl space exists,
Probably rock.
in fact, be required to have some chipping. There's a moratorium in the town of Mamaroneck, and we recognize that it'll be a few months before we even get approval. And upon approval, we'd have to talk about the means and methods of rock removal. So the red line being the existing house, the portion back here is a crawl space. We dug test pits by the house, and there was rock at about 7 feet in this corner here. We didn't hit rock down here. So if there's anything, it could be climbing. But the topography suggests, only because everything is sloping down across this page from right to left, that there might just be something, there might be a rock outcropping through here. I don't have the geological survey to prove that, but there will be some rock removal here, but nothing compared to what's up the street. No full basement, because this house will be out of the ground a little bit more than, I think, by 18 inches or 16 inches higher. First floor elevation will be 16 inches higher than the existing first floor elevation. So that'll help us with rock removal.
And then what are we doing to protect the property that's closer to the stream on the corner there? Anything? The water went off?
Yeah, so all of this, the leaders and gutters, we're showing a system in the rear. So the property here currently has a slope that gets pretty drastic as you get closer to the property line.
Yes.
The proposal here is to, on this side of the property, to build a short wall and just to level this piece off in here. So we're looking to keep this area flatter. It really just rolls right off. I'm not sure why that's the case, but yeah, and there's plenty of vegetation in here as well. It's got some natural screening in here. So we're not looking to do anything other than, like I said, just level this piece off along the edge. Stormwater mitigation measures are collecting the roof leaders and gutters, and currently they're going in that direction because that's the way the water's flowing. But we're going to pick those up and put them in a series of dry wells in the rear. And we've also been asked to see if we can sneak some more, or not sneak, but add additional dry wells in the front rather than bring everything in the rear. So we might split the system up and put some in the front as well. We just want to protect this tree in front from any root damage. So if anything, it'll be in this area here.
How many dry wells are you thinking about putting in the back and the front?
So we got 6 by design. It shows 5, but there's 6 by design. So that's one of the things, was it shows the wrong number that the design calculations indicate. So there's at least 6. There might be more, but there's at least 6 proposed.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll get a letter out to the planning board.
Thank you.
All right, I'm glad that you changed that design of the walls in the back. I didn't like the kind of going going on with the trees in between the two wall wells.
Yes, yeah, I did a little convincing of the property owners to say that we need to come up with a plan B or a better plan. So that's what we're working on, is a better plan.
All right, and if you don't put a drywall in that front left corner,
Yep.
that would be probably a good place for a replacement tree.
Okay. Yeah, that's
It'd be on your side of the sidewalk.
yeah. Unless the town wanted it at a park or something like that, we'd be willing to plant it anywhere in the town.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if you can get one in there if you're not doing a drywall system there.
I'll talk to Bob Beresford about that.
Okay.
I'll put it right here because the driveway's coming out, Liz. So
Yeah, you can put it in that area.
in this area right here. Okay. All right, let me make a note of that. Thank you, everyone, for your attention, consideration. Thanks, Bubba.
Thank you, Benny.
Thanks,
Okay.
Benny.
I'll get off here now.
Yeah.
Stop
And
video.
we should move on to item 6. We have a local consistency review, Corps of Engineers reauthorization of the nationwide general permits. The nationwide general permits, Liz, can you give us just a little background on it? I understand that those were originally disaster responses.
No, not always. The nationwide general permits tend to cover things that happen on a regular basis, like seawalls and docks and piers and just infrastructure that happens in the water, but on a regular basis. So they kind of come up with a blanket permit that covers a lot of activities. So the list that was in the attachment kind of goes through a bunch of different types of general permits that are available, and then you can see if you're doing a project if it's covered under one of those general permits.
They're generally replacement in kind, though, aren't they? Isn't that what they're usually talking about?
Not always, not necessarily.
Okay.
And I apologize. I wanted to have more time to look through that the document that they sent, but I didn't get a chance to go through it all.
Is there any reason why we should be, and anyone, I'm just posing this to everybody, is there any reason why we would be opposing this?
Well, the last one that they had, they wanted to have in a general permit the ability to disturb large areas of riverbanks.
I remember that, yes.
Right, and we wrote a letter and said we did not find that consistent, that the disturbance of riverbanks should be avoided.
And was that heeded, or did they go ahead with that anyway?
Actually, I don't know, but I assume that they listened to us, and
Yeah, I noticed that.
Say something. Sorry.
I noticed that too. It was like 300 feet, or it was some huge number.
It was a large area, and if we don't say anything, we accept it, then we don't really have the right to poo-poo an idea if it's under a general permit later.
Well, and perhaps we should I don't know what our time frame on this is, but maybe we should get a copy of that out so that we can kind of make an informed comment.
Mm-hmm. That was with the rest of the documents that I had uploaded on the website for you to download, but I'm probably going to be out for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't remember when the deadline was.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance, check that for us, and we'll respond accordingly. I mean, don't make a special trip in or anything like that. I know you're fighting that bug.
I think I'm losing the fight. Yeah, I posted it on the website so you can download it.
Okay.
If I can, I'll try to email it around tomorrow.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to take a look at that and see if there's anything there that jumps out at us that we should comment on.
Right, there's something about disposal of dredge materials, and there was something about agriculture, which seemed okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the disposal of dredge materials is something I definitely want to look into more.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like some time to kind of take a look at it, the documents, especially if it's going to just be, if it's a general permit, they never have to go through any review process.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Right, but we don't have, I don't think we have a lot of time. I think it was a 30-day turnaround, so.
It's
Okay.
it's kind of a blank check, so let's make sure we're not signing something we don't like.
Do you have the deadline?
The date
Yeah,
on the
data.
document, the date is September 15th on the document.
We didn't get it on September 15th. I think we got it later than that.
I thought I saw something about November in the first, the letter.
The cover letter?
Yeah. I lost my way through the Zoom here, sorry. I can't go
Okay,
back.
maybe it was created on the 15th then? Is that why it's on each page?
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay. We have no old business
Yeah,
pending,
this is from December.
and any new business anybody wants to bring before the
Oh,
board?
sorry, guys. It says, so it was on the 15th, but there's a 90-day period, it says.
Okay.
I think we
90
have
days
90
from
days
September
from the 15th, exactly, yeah. I'm just reading the letter now.
So we have time to look at it. All right, good. That's fine. Thank you. Okay. Any other new business we should be dealing with? Okay.
I missed the presentation on, I think, the second one, because my little one got hurt, so I had to jump off. So I have no questions for that one or statements, but just want to give you the heads up.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, one quick thing, I thought it was interesting that the last house that we discussed is already on Zillow for $3 million.
I don't listen to Zillow.
So I was just looking at on it, it's like
I can tell
$2,999,000, 7 bedrooms already listed on Zillow.
How many bedroom?
7.
That's
I can tell you
huge.
Yeah, when we were having the public hearings on the rock chipping, a lot of the neighbors in that neighborhood were complaining that that was the next one. I guess there's 2 big houses on Greystone that were chipped out, and there was a bunch in that whole area. And so we had a lot of public hearings, and everyone was fearing that house.
Yeah, they chipped up on Fernwood, the new house there, for 30, like 2 houses down from me for like, I don't know, a month. It was like 30 days, whatever the maximum was.
15 is the maximum under our law.
I mean, it just seemed like a month then. I don't
It
know.
probably seems horrible. No, because I drove on Greystone when they were chipping the 2 houses at once, and
Yeah.
it seemed like a war zone to me.
Right.
I wouldn't want to be the house in the middle. That's all I have to say.
I wouldn't have to want to be working from home right now.
That's the problem. People are working from home and the kids are on that half hybrid school thing
Yeah.
in their home. So life isn't, everyone doesn't go out to the city every day and no one's home, you know?
Almost no one does.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Good point. Once again, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Hey guys, good seeing everybody.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thanks. Bye.
Don't miss,
Good to see you.
Connor,